Hi everyone, and welcome back to Essex Answers. First of all, we want to say a big thank you to everybody who watched the introductory episode last week. And for those who haven't seen it yet, we will be posting the link in the description box under this video.
Today we are very glad to be here with Dr. Carlos Gigoux. He is one of the famous professors within both departments of Sociology and CISH in the University of Essex. And he's here to discuss with us about the way to structure an essay, answering one of your questions.
Okay, so let's start. First question is, what does a student need to consider when facing an open or a very general essay question?
Well, first of all, thank you, Graziana, and thank you, Lucian, for inviting me here. I think it can be very helpful that I can help students design their essays. Well, the first question has a very simple answer. The best way to approach any essay question is to know what you want to talk about. And that means you need to read first, carefully, the reading material available for your essay question. Once you know what you're talking about, then you can organize a plan or a structure for the essay. But it's very important that you first read and then you plan. Otherwise, you're going to plan something that you're not familiar with and it's not going to make any sense. So that's my first advice. Read carefully the material before you organize the plan.
Okay.
Well, now we're having the second question for you. How important is the way of structuring an essay?
Well, it's very important because always think from the perspective of your lecturer or teacher. When I read an essay that doesn't make any sense, it's because there is no plan. You're basically copy-pasting different ideas here and there from your notes or from somewhere else, but they don't make any sense. This is like telling a story. You're telling a story to someone. When you go out with your friends, you tell them the entire episode of what happened when you were in a party or you were in a sports club or something. You don't start from the end and then go back to the beginning. There needs to be a logical sequence in your argument, so then the reader can follow up your ideas in a good way.
Okay. Now, third question. What are the most common mistakes that make an essay difficult to read?
Well, certainly the most common mistake is that the student doesn't know about the topic. So then, as much as I want to understand what the student is saying, I don't make any sense because the student is not clear him or herself about what he or she wants to write about. The second common mistake is that the structure is very weak. So there is no logical sequence between the arguments. And it's very difficult then to understand where the student is going in order to answering that question. Those are the most typical mistakes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, in terms of the third question, there's something about the proofreading. At what stage of essay writing should it be done and by whom?
Well, I think the first thing is that the student is able to write the essay. And once the student has the essay complete, at least a first draft, then is the time to do the proofreading, not before. Don't waste time thinking of proofreading while you're writing the essay. Finish the essay, and as soon as it's finished, either you do your own proofreading, meaning you finish your essay, you leave it there for one day or at least, and then you read it again and you're going to spot immediately the mistakes. If your English is not that good, your English grammar is not that good, well then ask a friend to go through your essay. And if you really struggle with English, then you can hire a proofreader in order to make sure that the quality of your work will be supported by the quality of your writing. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of points if you don't do that.
Good. Now, last but not least, sometimes students tend to leave the writing of an essay to the last minute. And this, of course, compromises the content and the outcome of the essay itself. So how would you encourage students to be more proactive when planning an essay?
Well, there is one easy answer to this because it comes from my own experience. If you want to know the secret for success is this. Every time you begin a new academic year, choose your essay questions as soon as possible. It doesn't matter if you haven't covered those topics. Choose it as soon as you can and start working on your essays very early. It might not be the case for first-year students in their first term, but as soon as you wrote your first essays, you know how to write them. So choose the question early and start working on them. So then you will have time to proofread them and also maybe discuss them with your instructor or your teacher. So that will make a big difference for you having good grades.
Good. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Carlos, for coming here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And don't forget to leave your questions below the video clip and subscribe.